it's hard, you'd look at different numbers, but probably a good 3/4 of the population is chronically dehydrated.
Yeah.
But they just don't even know that it's important.
Yeah.
Think about
They're
it.
just never been taught.
Yeah, and I wasn't taught that in nursing school.
Yeah, which is
Here
crazy
I'm
to
learning
me.
about the body and health and wellness and all this, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't taught that in nursing school.
Welcome to the My WHIM Life show, where it is our mission to create a significant impact in this world by sharing wisdom, humor, inspiration, and motivation in such a way that you will use it to affect actual, real change in your own life and in the lives of others, creating a ripple effect of goodness. This week's guest is Victoria Lawson. She has been a servant leader for many years through her time in the Navy and as a nurse, and she continues in that role today, educating others about restructured, energized water. She didn't enter entrepreneurship until she was 41 and has succeeded through perseverance. Her other passion is adventure, and through her desire to never have regrets, she's about to begin what will undoubtedly be the adventure of a lifetime, selling everything she owns and moving to Costa Rica. Please help me welcome Victoria Lawson. Tell me a little bit about you.
About me? Oh my goodness. Yeah, you'll have to be a little more specific.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you grew up and how that has influenced the person that you are today.
Yeah, great question. So I grew up being raised by a single mom, and my dad was very much in my life, good close relationship there, but I wasn't raised by him. And I was smack dab in the middle of 4 brothers.
Oh my gosh.
So I'm a lot tougher than I look.
I can imagine.
Been told that I speak softly and I carry a big stick.
That's awesome.
So, that's definitely influenced, a lot of my choices and whatnot. I have thought a little bit about my name and just, Victoria and being victorious and victory and all of that. Mm-hmm. And I feel that way, like, regardless of what challenges are sent my way, that I will always be victorious.
Yeah.
So, that's I feel has shaped me a lot as well.
Yeah. Was that something that you just thought about, or was that something that your mother said, I named you Victoria for a reason, or?
There is a little bit of a story there, and she didn't necessarily say I named you that for a reason. So I had what would have been an older sister on my dad's side, and unfortunately she was killed when she was 3.
Oh my gosh.
Some friends were watching her, and they had left a loaded gun around, and there was another younger child, and they got a hold of it, and so her name was Clarabelle Grace. And my mom had said that when I was born, if I was a girl, because she wanted a girl so bad, that if I was a girl, that my dad could name me. And he, for some interesting reason, wanted to name me Clarabelle. And she was like, that's kind of strange, like trying to replace a child. And so she was like, no, I don't like that name. And so my aunt piped in and just said, what about Victoria? And they gave me Grace in honor of Clarabelle.
Yeah,
so,
that's so awesome.
Yeah. It wasn't really anything that my parents said, oh, I gave you this name for this reason, but I'm very grateful because it served me well.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got a lot of potential behind it, which is awesome. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So where are you at in your life right now? I know you're about to plan a big life change, and I want to hear all about it.
Okay. Well, some of the things that have occurred to me over the last several years is once upon a time I thought that taking that leap of faith, jumping, was like a one-time event, right? Mm-hmm. So when I left a career in nursing and took the leap into this entrepreneur world with my own business, I was like, okay, I took the leap. Now I should be good, right? And it's like I'm realizing it is sometimes hour by hour, day by day. It's continually facing our fears and stepping into that and taking that leap. And with that being said, yes, I am getting ready to yet take another huge leap and selling everything and going to Costa Rica and see what unfolds.
Oh my gosh, do you know anybody there?
You know, it's life is just, to me, it's really magical. I feel like oftentimes we go through, and I've been guilty of this myself, right? Where we say, I'm kind of lost right now. Give me a sign, like, where am I going? And I feel like it's really more about deciding what you want. Declaring this is what I want, and stepping in that direction. And of course, it has to always be married with action. Right. So I just made this decision a little bit before the new year, and that's been interesting. And I have to say that because I just have that, I know something good will come from this, whatever unfolds. And I have just, everything that I've asked for has been given to me easily. Okay, I need someone to stay within LA before I fly out the next day to go to Costa Rica. Oh, here you go, done. Here it is, quickly, right? Now I'm trying to remember what the question was that you asked. I kind of went off on some tangents.
That's totally fine. That's totally fine. I was just asking if you knew anyone there.
Oh, yes, that's what it was. So it's really interesting. When I made the decision, I knew that my company maybe had a small office in San Jose. What I've come to find out is that there is a gentleman that has lived there for 17 years that's with my company and does all of the websites, and him and his brother both do all of the, the tech side of things. And so, yes, I do know someone. I didn't know that when I first just made that declaration and said, this is how. And it's amazing, Wendy, because as I just talk to people and I share my story, almost everybody has said, oh, I know somebody who's been there or is living there, and I want to connect you.
Yes.
So I've made like several connections just organically through talking to people.
Yeah, I know. I introduced you to my friend Jennifer that travels. She's been to Costa Rica so many times. Many times. So I know she has a wealth of knowledge. She's definitely a nomad.
Thank you for reminding me. I'm going to reach out to her. I've had so many amazing connections, and I'm doing my best to follow up on all of them.
Sure. Yeah. And you never know what goodness someone has to share with you,
or what I have to, share with them. Yeah.
So we know kind of where you're going, but what is the basis for when you moved over to entrepreneurship? What was that leap like?
Wow. Yeah. Great question. So it was scary, but it was exciting. And even every day, like I was talking about, clearly anybody who's in this world knows that it's very up and down.
Yeah. Without a doubt.
And you really have to every day remind yourself of your why, like, why am I doing this? And I was listening to somebody recently who said that when they start to feel a little bit down or not as motivated, that they have to remind themselves, this is not about me. This is about the people that I'm serving.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
And I really relate to that. So it's been an adventure. And I have to keep reminding myself, well, I've been doing it for this long. I mean, I think it's going to work out, you know. But yeah, it's still, of course, it's a little bit like to go from, kind of being in the golden handcuffs, but you're still getting that steady paycheck, to now like, okay.
Yeah, it's so interesting how different people, I find, view security. What does that look like to different people? I know from my husband's standpoint, like he is very much I find security in obtaining that paycheck, knowing that I have health insurance. Like that is my comfort zone for him. Where me, I'm just like, oh, no, like the minute someone tries to tell me what to do, that is no longer stability or freedom to me in any way. I just can't. And I don't think I felt that strongly about it necessarily when I started. But 16 years later, I'm like, I am unemployable. I just don't think that anyone could employ me at this point because I am so strong-willed and I have my own ideas, and trying to trying to do that in a corporate environment where you're competing with their goals
Yes.
as well, I think would be a real challenge for me at this point, for sure.
Yeah, I love hearing your experience with it because mine was a little bit different in that I didn't step into this entrepreneur world until I was 41, right? So I'd had all those years of being a great employee.
Yeah.
And I was a great employee,
Yeah.
great worker bee, those types of things. However, I started to have some awarenesses unfold, exactly what you talk about with freedom,
Yeah.
right? And when I started to have those awarenesses that I found that it was an illusion.
Yeah.
The golden handcuffs were an illusion of stability. And just through a couple of things that happened, it really started opening up and showing me that working for somebody else is, in my opinion, one of the most unstable things because they hold all the cards, and at any time they can say, and then when I really, really had that realization of, I'm trading an hour of my life for whatever it is that they're paying me, and that's the trade. Is an hour of my life worth that, or do I want to be able to say what an hour of my life is worth? And that was, wow, talk about freedom. I mean, and I just really, really came to that space of, I know that an hour of my life is worth more than whatever it is that, but thank goodness we have people of all, just people with different personalities, because where would we be if, everybody wanted to be an entrepreneur?
Yeah, no, we definitely, I am very thankful for whoever is working at the convenience store or whoever is working at the post office, because I need them in my life. So,
absolutely.
yeah, it's just a difference of what is needed for me.
Yes.
Totally.
But it's been, and I can see with myself how I'm still working in a lot of ways to overcome a lot of that conditioning of working for that paycheck, as you mentioned, right? Or just all, what I experienced for the first, however many years until I stepped into this new adventure. So I can still see ways that I'm shifting from kind of that employee mindset to, okay, this is my business. And I mean, always learning.
Always.
Yeah.
Every day. For sure. So tell me, I know a little bit about what your business is, but do you want to share with them a little bit about your business?
Yeah. So it's really, really amazing. I went from, being a nurse and really just studying disease for 12 years, that range, and really started having it weigh heavy on my heart, that I felt like we were putting Band-Aids on things, that we were really just kind of perpetuating issues, and not really getting to the root cause of what was causing the imbalance in the body, right? And, ask and you shall receive. Be careful what you ask for.
Sure.
I had prayed for years to be more on the preventative side of healing.
Yeah.
Because I really do have very much a heart of compassion and service, and I truly want to help people. I know a lot of that has come from the contrast of having both my parents pass away and my little brother, and just what I saw in nursing. And so I prayed for a long time to be on the side of prevention, right? Let's get to the root cause of the problem. Let's figure out why the body's out of balance. And sometimes the way that our prayers are answered are a little bit different than we might think, although I didn't really have an idea of how that would present itself. But I was introduced to a company that is based out of Japan. Yeah. And they actually make a medical device that restructures water. I mean, the best way to say it is really that I like to call it energized water, because it really is. It's just living water, and it creates different waters as well for cleaning and your skin and just all sorts of things. So the impact that we're having on people just with them feeling better, looking better, the way that it's helping our environment to reduce plastics, all of that. It's amazing. That's the long and short of it. So
Yeah, pretty powerful change on a very small level.
very.
Yeah,
it's so foundational, right? I mean,
Absolutely.
we're 60 to 75% water, depending on the person and the age and the circumstances and all of that, right? So there's a reason that they say water is life, because it really is. It's like the elixir of life, right? So
yeah, and I was lucky enough to see some of those demonstrations,
Yes.
so I know exactly how that works. It made a pretty significant impact on me, because as I was honest about, I am not a very good water drinker. It just has never been something that was pushed in my life until my friend Carly started to be to get into personal training and exercise and stuff, and then she has all but shoved it down my throat.
held you down and
she tries.
You're drinking water.
She tries. But
see, I love your honesty though, because that, Wendy, is what I found as I've stepped into this, company and mission and project for almost 3 years, just a little shy of 3 years. And that's where I start my education. I always start my education with the foundation of hydration, regardless of what kind of water you're drinking, right? And it's so interesting to me that it's hard, you'd look at different numbers, but probably a good 3/4 of the population is chronically dehydrated.
Yeah.
But they just don't even know that it's important.
Yeah.
Think about
they're
it.
just never been taught.
Yeah, and I wasn't taught that in nursing school.
Yeah, which is crazy
Here I'm
to
learning
me.
about the body and health and wellness and all this, supposedly, right?
Yeah.
And I wasn't taught that in nursing school.
Blows my mind.
Think about, and you may not go to the doctor. I don't really go to the doctor, but when you go to the doctor, they will ask you, do you drink alcohol? Do you drink soda? Do you drink coffee? They don't ask you if you drink water and how much and what kind.
Yeah.
And it's literally, it is so important. Most people don't know this. Even from just a level of, molecules in your body and whatnot, without the element of water and salt, we cannot even utilize the air that we're breathing. That's how important it is.
Yeah. Right.
We can go only a couple days without water, but we can go for a long time without food. We won't be happy, but
right. May not
I
be
wouldn't
happy
be happy
about it, but
yeah,
it's possible.
So it's so, I would say at the heart and core of my mission, first and foremost, even aside from this life-altering, device that I now educate people on, is really that awareness of how hydration has a direct link to our health.
Sure.
I'll mention really quick, and then if somebody wants to go and find it and take a look, there's a book that's called You're Not Sick, You're Thirsty. Your Body's Many Cries for Water. We call him Dr. Batman because he has a really long last name. It's hard to pronounce, but yeah, it is so important, if people would drink, and there is a formula, reach for a goal of, being within a certain percentage of your body weight. Oh my goodness, you will see magic happen in your life. It's amazing. So
yeah, I'm putting it on my book list right now.
just like,
Exactly. So I know you're definitely, without a doubt, very passionate about what you do. But being an entrepreneur, even if it was something that you're passionate about, you have to have certain habits and focus time in order to make that happen, in order to be able to share that with all the people that you would like to. What are some of your core habits or routines that you follow on a regular basis to make sure that this isn't just a hobby?
Right. Great question. So I would say probably one of my biggest, I don't know if you'd call it a habit more than a strength, but it's really just, as an entrepreneur, being out there, and especially doing what I'm doing, because I'm very much an outlier, as we were just talking about earlier, right? I'm kind of on the fringe. People, it's interesting to see people's reactions when I tell them that I left a career in nursing to do what I'm doing now, right? And so if they don't understand, they don't understand, and that's okay. But I do get, we get a fair amount of rejections and no's and skepticism, and that can kind of wear you down. So I really just, I don't know, that perseverance, like, again, bringing myself back to, this isn't about me, right? This isn't about me. There's a lot of people that need help. They're praying for this. And I've just got to keep stepping forward and sharing the message. Not everybody's going to connect, and that's okay.
Yeah.
I want to be, when I'm 100 years old, wearing my glitter.
Yes.
Taking no medication, super spunky. Maybe I'll go skydiving. I want to look back and not have any regrets, and just knowing that I shared it with as many people as possible. As far as like habits and whatnot, I'm still working to develop some of those, Wendy. Like I said, I was a very good employee, and it's very, very different over on this side. I would say that, my habits are really just obviously reaching out daily to people and sharing my heart, sharing my story, sharing the water, obviously educating people. But as far as those habits, that's probably like, I'm still working on that.
Do you have personal habits like journaling or meditating or things like that you that anchor you?
I guess this is appropriate coming from the water goddess. I mean, one of my habits is to drink a gallon of water every day. I mean, that's definitely one of my habits. Meditation is something that, I know there's great value in it, and I still am in that process of like, let's make this a daily habit, right? Definitely working out, that's taking care of my body, that's a habit that, because that's important. We have to invest in ourselves first before we can give to anybody else.
Yeah.
So
because while hydration definitely I think is at the core and it's the start of that process, there are so many other things that we have to do. If you sit on the couch all day just drinking your water, that's not real helpful.
That's not gonna
no, not real helpful.
Yeah. I love that you point that out. It's so true. It's interesting to me though, Wendy, because I talk with a lot of people in the health profession, in fitness, just all sorts of areas. And I'm really, really surprised at how many people don't talk about or don't even really know about hydration, other than just, okay, we need to drink water.
Right. Yeah, they just don't understand.
But you're absolutely right. Like, that's what I tell people all the time, like this technology is to be used in conjunction with reasonable lifestyle choices, because nobody's perfect.
Totally.
Right? And we all have something we're working on. But yes, the company even says, this isn't a Band-Aid for poor lifestyle choices. Like, we need to marry it with these other things.
You still have to do all the things.
Yes. And when you're doing those things that are hopefully, balanced, and again, moderation with your moderation. When you're doing all of those things and you have a body that's properly hydrated and properly detoxed, you are going to get so much more value from all those other things, the exercise you're doing, the beautiful living food you're putting in your body. If you're taking vitamins and supplements, it's only going to potentiate all of those things even more. So, I mean, heck yeah, why not, right? You're doing the work.
Absolutely.
May as well get more bang for your buck.
Yeah. Exactly. So what are some of the non-negotiables in your life?
Non-negotiables. Wow, that's kind of an open-ended question.
It is. It is. Because I think it's very personal to everyone. Some people, when I ask that question, they dig into faith. Some people are like integrity all the way. So it kind of depends on that, kind of almost on your core values. Like, where are you at a core where it doesn't matter what job you're doing or who's around, like, this is not negotiable for me.
Yeah, I love that question. I would say for me, 100%, I'm so empathic and heart-centered.
Yeah.
That, because that was really something that I had to process and come to terms with, switching from technically being in healthcare to being in sales, right?
Absolutely.
And sometimes being a salesperson or being in sales, for some people, that can have a little bit of a bad connotation. It can take us back to an idea of somebody trying to take advantage of us, or, that type of thing, not having our best interest at heart. And so, that's also some of the psychology that I've had to work through myself.
Sure.
And in some ways still, working through a little bit. So for me, 100% non-negotiable is, am I showing up in a way, am I serving in a way that is truly helping people, that is for their greater good, not just how I might benefit, right? Is this something that is helping people, and even in my case, helping our planet? So that's very much a non-negotiable for me. When I was thinking of stepping into this, I did extensive research on the company, on the product, on everything, the science of it. Because I really had to know that I was putting my credentials, my reputation, my name behind something that was helping people.
Yes,
right?
Absolutely.
100%. So, and somebody said something to me really powerful, that I will always be a nurse. They're like, Victoria, you will always be a nurse because that's here. That's in your heart, right? That's
the care for others.
That's the care for others. And I now get to care about people and love on them in a way that actually aligns with my truth. Right? Just for me personally, and I would never negate any form of healing because it all has its place, right?
Sure.
We all need different forms of healing at different times. But for me, really being a legalized drug dealer and just handing out medications, and me personally, I don't take medications. That's probably a non-negotiable for me. It was very much in direct conflict with my personal truth and out of alignment with that. So that was. And
I don't think that, because I know you a little bit, I don't think you realize the power that taking that step actually holds. Like, there are thousands of people, hundreds that I know myself, that I believe, or have told me that they're living outside of their truth because it's just such a big step, or the consequences they're just not willing to live with. And it is so powerful to watch someone that has been like, I can't continue to live a lie on a day-to-day basis, regardless of what that means in consequences to me. I have to step forward and move into something that I know is right.
Yes. That's tough. You really hit on some points there. I mean, think about, and I come across those people as well. And I also have another personal mission with reaching people in the medical field, because I personally know a lot of people who, like you said, they're tied into that paycheck, and I've invested in my education and this career, and I have, the insurance and all those things, and those are all great things to want.
Sure.
But they are having a huge moral dilemma because they feel like what they're doing is out of alignment with their truth, right? So I'm on a mission myself to reach as many of those people and help them if they are ready, if they so choose to take the big step that I did, right? And you're right, I got to a place where I was so in conflict and really having a hard time looking myself in the mirror in the morning, right? That I had to do something, and I was waiting for that opportunity of something that I did connect with, right? Because it's like, it can be really easy to know that I'm not happy over here, I don't align over here, but where do
that
I
blank
fit?
spot is such a hard place.
Where do I align, and when you think about it, it's like your whole entire world is turned upside down when you realize this life you've been living that could be profession-wise, that could be religion, that could be anything, right? And it does take a certain person, and I'm not saying that I'm, any more courageous than anybody else, but it does take a certain person to, and I think that that's a lot of it as well. I have a good friend named Sam, and he calls himself a recovering scientist because he was in, and now I call myself a recovering nurse.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, the RN, that's perfect, right?
Right,
like,
totally.
Recovering nurse.
I love it.
But it's true. It's hard. You know what?
You need to start a blog.
With the I'm gonna do it. Recovering nurse.
Yes.
You're inspiring me. The ego, right? The ego tells us like, nope, this is where I'm at, and to really step outside of that, you have to take a good look at yourself, and yeah, I did it, and I've had more abundance come into my life from taking that step, and I'm so grateful.
Yeah. How long has it been since you made that switch?
So I stepped into my business almost 3 years ago.
Okay.
The actual step to retire from nursing and be fully in my business was June of 2018. So
Nice.
not quite 2 years.
Yeah. Almost.
Yeah.
I told your age earlier, so.
What was that?
I said you said earlier when.
Oh yes, when I yeah.
So now everybody's going to know your age. So
on myself.
I know. I'm really sorry about that. If that's an insecurity for you.
Not at all. You can ask me my weight, my age, I'm
good.
Very, very open.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. So if for those people that are kind of on that precipice and trying to decide if they are ready or able or whatever to make that leap, what would be your one piece of advice that they should really take to heart?
It sounds really simple. I mean, you just have to bite the bullet and do it. You just have to do it, and you have to believe like you believe like you believe, and it's not gonna be smooth. There's gonna be times when you're like, I might be living in my car next month, you know.
I made the wrong choice.
But really, I would say ask yourself the question of, you know, in 5 years, are you still going to be in a place of not being happy with what you're doing? And because I mean, that 5 years is going to come no matter what, right? And in that 5 years, you could be building your own dream instead of building somebody else's. You know, I mean, I've not ever been really driven by money. However, I do I'm open to abundance, right? Thank you, and keep it coming. The more we have, then the more generous we can be, and the more that we can give, right? But me, it's all about like experiences and helping people, and you know, it's amazing because I have been so rewarded. I have met and surpassed what I was being compensated in nursing, but compensated in a way now that I can't even put into words, because, you know, I know when I get that phone call from the lady that hasn't been able to dance with her husband in 12 plus years because of the arthritis in her shoulder, and she's like, Victoria, thank you so much, you know, like I can't tell you how much this means to us, you know. I've been able to cut my acid reflux medication into half, and you know, and I want to preface all of that with saying that I am not making any medical claims. It's very, very important that I state that. Right? This water is not healing anybody. It's not a magic pill. It's just giving our body a foundation so that it can support us, right? And our immune system can actually support us, right? So when we support our bodies, then they can support us. But when we stop supporting them, but yeah, I mean, I won't go into all the stories, but I've got story after story after story. And you know, when I was a nurse, the patients were very grateful, and I got a lot of, you know, thank yous, and I loved helping people in their moments of vulnerability. I just, you know, got to a space where I was like, I want to be part of the problem, or excuse me, I don't want to be part of the problem. I want to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem.
Right, so, and a part of the proactive side of the problem.
Let's prevent. Instead of reacting, let's be proactive. And how do we do that, right? So,
absolutely. I definitely get that.
And I know it's not an easy road, and we kind of hear it said over and over, but when we follow our passion, we will be provided for. And that has very much been the case with me.
That's awesome.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
So if people need to get a hold of you, how can they do that? Where are you at?
Where am I? Oh my goodness. Well, so yeah, I mean, I'm fine with anybody reaching out to me. My email address is the number 1.
Okay.
And then all lowercase letters, Victoria Lawson. Perfect. That's LAWSON @gmail.
Perfect.
Yeah,
and we'll
I
definitely
just-
have that in the show notes
Awesome.
so people can pull
Thank
that up
you.
and
Yeah.
email you and ask any questions that you might
Yes,
have.
be like, how much water should I be drinking? Well, let me tell you.
She will tell you all the
Yes.
things. Okay, so for my last question, which is always my favorite because it's the most
Okay.
important to me, is
Okay.
how do you give back?
Yes, I've been thinking about that. I've been thinking about how do I give back. I would say one of my gifts that I have always had, and people kind of pointed out to me, and they asked me, they're like, Victoria, can you teach a class on this? And I'm like, so I truly, truly love people, like to my core. Like I love people, and I'm a great connector.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't know how do you teach a class on connecting? It's either something that you kind of have or you don't, or maybe you can develop it,
Yeah.
But I would say one of the ways that I give back is both professionally and personally. Kind of dipping my toe in this area of matchmaking. I'm really not, I don't have any experience. But I just I know so many amazing people, and I'm like, okay, I feel like this person and this person needs to know each other, maybe for professional reasons.
Yeah.
And this person, they're both single, they might click,
Yeah.
So I would say I definitely give back by connecting people.
Yeah, and
That
I think
I'm a connector.
that is literally one of the best ways that anyone can ever give back. Any way that we can make connections and start collaborating, to share ideas. One of us is great. One brilliant mind is great. However, if we start combining that knowledge and sharing it and using what I know with a little bit of what you know and sharing it with the world, it is just so powerful. So powerful.
I think you posted about that recently. That's so true, right? I mean, growing up in the environment that I did, and I'm a very strong person, I spent a lot of my life feeling like I've got to do it myself, and over the last several years have certainly learned that all great things are accomplished together with people.
Absolutely.
And we need the help of others, and just I do my best on a daily basis to just help others connect with who they need to connect with, knowing that putting that goodness out there, it's good for everybody.
Yeah, for sure. So excited for you. So I definitely expect that you will chronologically document all of your journey, and so that we can learn from all your goodness. Because that's a super brave move.
It is. Yeah, we'll see what unfolds.
Perfect.
No, I'm excited. There's a lot of people in this world that need help, and it might just be a starting point for me.
Yeah,
Who knows?
absolutely.
It'll just be a girl, her suitcase, and her water machine.
That'll be perfect. I love it. Thank you so much for spending some time with me today.
having me on this.
Yes,
Thank you so
loved
much.
every minute of it. You're
too.
adorable.
Oh, thanks.